Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up with YPN. Hope you had a great weekend and ready to kickstart your Monday morning with our 75th episode of bi-weekly educational morning lives for you. So thank you for tuning in this morning. September is Realtor Safety Month, and so this week, we're going to be focusing on scams, frauds, and more. So our episode sponsor is Hills Bank. Thank you so much for them being a sponsor, and we're excited to be joined by Lexi Mendoza, the Treasury Management Representative, and Hannah Peterson, a mortgage loan officer from Hills Bank this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
We're excited to have you here to talk to us about how we can avoid scams and frauds in our personal life, and as realtors, how we can take that knowledge to our clients to protect them throughout the process as well. So before we begin, I just want to let our viewers know that if you have questions for Lexi and Hannah, feel free to pop those in the comments and we'll get to them as we go. And to start out, Lexi and Hannah, will you tell me a little bit about yourselves and what you do in your position at Hills Bank?
Yeah, so I started at Hills Bank when I was still in college. I was on the teller line for a long time until I graduated. And then I was in our trust department for a little bit until I decided I wanted to come over into our commercial department. And now I work with different business owners on deposits and different services that we offer to help making their business run more smoothly, efficiently, and make everybody happy.
And I am Hannah. I was a mortgage closer for 3.5 years here at Hills Bank, and now I am going on 3.5 years of being a loan officer. I think my day-to-day primarily is meeting with customers, new or current customers, taking those pre-approval applications, working on current loans that are in process, and just kind of making the loan process go along.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you and your backgrounds with us today. Thank you for hopping on. So jumping right in, I think we can all acknowledge that scams and frauds are more common than I think a lot of people give them credit for. They don't happen once in a blue moon, and they're usually really well equipped and like well thought out, and so they're hard to sometimes identify. Can you tell us a little bit about the top 3 types of scams that you both see in your day-to-day businesses?
Absolutely. So it's so hard to truthfully narrow down what the top 3 scams are, just because as soon as you see a scam and you start to become familiar with it and it's reported on more frequently, scammers are already thinking about the next thing. What else do people not know about that they can trick you with? I would say business email compromise is the overarching category where a lot of scams kind of fall underneath. This is when a scammer is able to get into your email and basically play as you to try and interrupt the business between you and employees, you and business partners, you and customers, whatever the specific case may be. And there are always going to be scams that kind of target specific industries. And like I said earlier, they're always going to be changing. The most important things that you can do if you feel like you're being scammed, or even if you're just talking to somebody in general, is making sure you gather as much information as possible. Anything that you can gather to verify who you're talking to, even if it's a trusted relationship that you have and their voice sounds a little bit off or their dialect is a little bit off in an email, that can be super helpful in verifying if something is legitimate or not. If you ever find yourself in that situation, it's always easy to either, if you're on the phone with somebody, hang that up, call a verified number that you feel comfortable with or that you know is legitimate. Or if it's an email address that you feel might be a little bit different, again, calling a verified number. That way you can verify the information that you've received and prevent yourself from falling victim to a scam.
For sure. Yeah, when in doubt, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah, do you have any examples of a scam that you see in your day-to-day business?
I think the most frequent or common one that we run into is wire fraud. And that's when a scammer will pose as a bank representative and trick someone into wiring funds into a fraudulent account. So my recommendation, and I think a lot of our employees have it in our signature line, we will never call you to initiate the wire or email you to initiate the wire. So what I typically do when I'm working with borrowers who need to bring funds to closing is I ask them directly, how are you going to bring your funds? Is it a check? And then if they do want to wire, I will talk to them through the whole process on, okay, I'm sending you this information now. I'll talk to them when they go to their bank to initiate the wire. And I've also verified with those other banks, excuse me, as well, where the wire is coming from, that this is a legitimate account. And same as Lexi, and as you already said, when in doubt, check it out. I'm never going to be upset with a customer for verifying something with me, because it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, no, that's definitely very real. I've had instances where I've had clients who have those fake wire requests and things come through. So really important to start those conversations early in the transaction and let them know what to be expecting and when, because it makes sense that someone would be reaching out for a wire or wire information. And from what I understand, if that does get wrongly sent, it's really hard to track back down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any other certain scams that we as realtors may fall more prone to that you could think of? Or how can we take proactive steps to help protect our clients against things like those mortgage fraud and other scams?
I have noted down just educating your clients early on, maybe on that first initial either buyer or listing appointment. I think a lot of realtors have folders or packets that they hand out. If you could include something on, and we, as Lexi said, they're always changing, but just making them aware that fraud can happen and can be attempted in this type of process. And maybe if it's top of mind because you had mentioned it, then they'll be able to catch those red flags earlier than later and be able to stop the fraud from happening.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else, Lexi?
Yeah, and I was just gonna kind of add on and verify everything, even if you're talking to somebody is initiating something with you, making sure you're verifying all of the information that you possibly can, because obviously you want to do that in any case scenario. It helps you in your job do everything a little bit smoother. But also, if you do have any doubt that you're getting scammed in any way, this is a great way to help you verify and kind of collect information, so that way you can report it on to a reputable source and actually get the verifying information that you need.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned also earlier, like business email scams, keeping important information out of your email inbox and out of those email conversations. Phone calls or in-person conversations are sometimes better to pass along that information rather than have it sitting there for someone to dig in and find. Moving on a little bit, what is the difference between a common mortgage scam and a reverse mortgage scam?
So a common mortgage scam, they'll target anyone, and that typically involves fraudulent actions such as inflating property values or using fake documents or engaging in identity fraud to get a mortgage under someone else's name. A reverse mortgage scam typically, they specifically target seniors, and they'll exploit their home equity. So scammers might push a fraudulent reverse mortgage, offer a reverse mortgage that's actually not real. They might charge excessive fees or actually trick the homeowners into signing over their property rights, in a disguise of getting that home equity.
Okay, important. And then what about foreclosure relief scams? Do you see this often in our area?
Sure if you've heard much about it, but that would be when scammers target homeowners that are facing foreclosure. They offer false promises saying, we're going to help you save your house, we're going to help you stay in your house, usually charging upfront fees or charging excessive fees for fake services. And then they also can ask the homeowner to sign over their rights to their home, and then ultimately don't actually provide help, which leaves the homeowner in a worse financial situation than they were in.
Yeah, definitely easy prey sometimes. And we have a comment from Paul that says vacant land appears to be a big target in our areas. Scammers pretend to be the owners of the land and forge documents to an extremely detailed degree to even move towards selling those. And then the real owners come on and the land has been fraudulently sold. So really scary there. So verifying things every step of the way to kind of prevent all of these things. And then one more scam that is becoming more popular, instead of pretending to be the seller, is fake buyers. But can you paint a picture of how this typically happens and how they may fall prey to it?
Yeah, and I think, you know, you may be in your home and you would sell for the right price, right? So if you get a text or an email from someone saying they're interested in buying your home, you might take the bite and say, all right, well, do you want to look at it? Like, what's your offer? And I think a lot of times that the reason that this can be, you could easily fall for this is maybe they're offering you well above market value, which is very exciting. And then there's a sense of urgency to get this done. So that can cause people to overlook maybe the red flags. So this is where if I were to hear of it, or someone would come to me, recommending they chat with a realtor, because a realtor can actually verify that this is a legitimate buyer versus a scam. But I think that probably just creating that excitement and urgency is why people are kind of falling for that, thinking they can get more for their house than maybe they actually can.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you mentioned a good point about people, getting in touch with buyers or sellers about those things. Realtors sometimes bear a lot of that burden as far as that kind of risk of meeting unknown people at properties. Just want to put a quick plug in there during Realtor Safety Month for Forewarn that all ICAAR members have access to. And that is an app that you download on your phone where for business purposes, you can use phone number or name lookup, and it'll tell you some more history about the person to make sure that the person that you're meeting is who they say they are, for one, and also some other information about maybe what they might be driving when they get to the appointment, to kind of just help your gut check feel a little better every step of the way there. And then, are there any types of up and coming scams? I know that Lexi mentioned they're always changing, which I think is very true. We hear that as soon as we catch on to what they're doing, they're going to change it and find something else. Sometimes I wish they would invest their time and energy into something helpful in the world, because we would be able to innovate a lot of awesome things. Is there any up and coming scams that are current now that you have kind of heard about, or things people should look out for or educate everyone else about?
I would have to agree. I wish they would dedicate their time to something more valuable, but the truth is we're not going to get rid of it. They'll always be out there. So the best way to go forward with that thought is how you conduct yourself and how you talk to the individuals that you're working with, whether you have an established relationship or not. With technology and its advancements as well, now we have things like AI that can play a component in voice and text as well. So that those are all things to consider when you're either emailing or calling somebody. An example that I think of that comes right to the top of my head is people posing as different bank representatives from financial institutions. So just as an example, if someone calls you saying that they're Hannah Peterson, make sure you're gathering some information on Hannah. Verify what her role is, verify what number she's calling you from or emailing you from, whatever the case may be. Look at the specific email address that you have, maybe even what branch she works out of. And you can verify all that information on a Trusted Hills Bank website that we have. You can look Hannah up, you can verify what her email is, what her phone number is, and you can make a decision on if you really talk to Hannah or not. And I joke with a lot of my customers when I'm talking about fraud with them. If you ever feel like if someone's calling you saying they're me and it's not actually me, just hang up. I'll always have a way to reach back out to you. I'll always have a way to get back in touch with you if I need. We can joke about it and we can laugh and I can say kudos for you for doing a great job. I'd rather have you hang up on me if you feel suspicious, and I can call you back. I can email you back, whatever the case is. But once you've given your information or any type of personal information to a fraudster, you can't get that back. They have that information now for however long they want to have it. They can do whatever they need with it. And that's really scary. So it's always best to have your guard up, no matter if you're talking to a new person or someone that you already have an existing relationship with. And as scams change over time, I would just really recommend sticking to those values and sticking to verify as much as possible.
Yeah, No, I definitely agree. Trust your gut, and know that these things are very real and not as rare as people may think.
Mhm.
And especially when money and big numbers are involved and people's assets, I mean, it's very, very common. So I've heard a lot of different examples. People might throw some in the comments if they'd like to. We've had a great 15 minutes talking about this and kind of kicking off the month with some of these more safety mindfulness as far as people's financial assets and everything. Is there anything that we've missed today that you think is especially important for our Realtor members to know about?
One thing I do want to promote is at Hills Bank, specifically for our business customers, we do have a business academy where we offer a lot of different seminars, and we do have a fraud seminar that's coming up in the Johnson County area at the end of October, October 29th. I'd really recommend signing up for that. We'll have a great panel, and a lot of information is always shared. There's lots of insight that you always pick up on, truthfully, that even I pick up on, that just gives another industry perspective. So I would really recommend signing up. If you have any questions on how to do that, you can either reach out to me directly, another friend at Hills Bank, or if you want to go right to the website, you can do that as well under the Business Academy tab.
Awesome. That's a great note, Lexi. Thank you. If you send us that link, we'll be sure to put it in the comments. That way the viewers can check out that upcoming class that you have. Getting some great feedback from viewers saying that they found benefit in tuning in this morning. So thank you so much for joining us and for helping to bring those things that we don't like to think about back to the forefront of our mind. And I'm encouraging all of our Realtor and affiliate members during the month of September to really make safety a priority in their business. It's easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day stuff and you're heading out to show that house like you're not thinking, or you're clicking away on those emails and instructions come through and you might not have that personal connection with someone. Just take that extra time and double check the things that are coming through to keep us and our buyers and sellers and clients and awesome affiliates like you guys safe throughout the transaction. So I hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy this fall weather that we've been having, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, Kayla. Thank you.
Have a great day.